Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. I'd like to share with you an interesting shaila that's brought in the Radvaz. Actually, the Mishnah Brura and Simon Tzadik, Sif Katan Chav Ches, brings this Radvaz. There was a person that was held in prison, and the government gave him permission for one day to go out, and he could go to shul or go to visit his community. And the shaila was asked by the Radvaz, now that he has permission to go out for one day, what is there a day that he should choose? What's the preferable day that he should designate for his one day of release, of freedom? Now, the choice is, should he take the first possible time that he's able to? The Sar gave him permission that he could go one day to shul. Should he take the first possible day that you're able to go, that's the day he goes to shul? Or should he put on the calendar Yom Kippur or some special Yom Tov? So the Radvaz says, Yispalel Oiso Yom Tekiv. In a case like that, don't worry about the future. The first possible time that you're able to go daven a shul, daven with a minyan, whatever it is, do it right then and there. V'lo yachmitz hamitzvah lahamtin al Yom Kippurim. Don't delay it, schedule a later date, Yom Kippur or Purim. That's the opinion of the Radvaz. The Chacham Tzvi in Siman Kuvav argues, and he says it depends what type of mitzvah it is. And let me use his words. He says you have to be mechaluk bein mitzvah achas she'efshar la'soisos hayoim shaloi min ha'muvchar u'lemachar yasena min ha'muvchar. It depends if it's a mitzvah that today it's done, okay, you pass, the first possible time the mitzvah is done passing, and if you wait a little bit longer, the mitzvah will be done min ha'muvchar, even better. In a case like that, where a later scheduled date, a certain mitzvah will be done even better, you actually have to designate the time for the better time. You're being ma'ivir ala mitzvah, says the Chacham Tzvi. The ma'ivir ala mitzvah means you should rush to do the mitzvah the first possible time you're able to. Says the Chacham Tzvi, it's no different than the famous din in Kiddush Levana. Why is it that we are Mekadosh Levana Motzei Shabbos? It's not always it's not the first time that the Levana is ready for us to give the bracha at. And the answer is because if you're going to make the bracha on Kiddush Levana during the week, you're not going to be dressed so fancy, so nice. So we delay that one mitzvah a couple of days, so the mitzvah should be done better. That's a machlokes between the Chacham Tzvi and the Radvaz. This machlokes is interesting that the Achrayim, today's poskim, discuss two interesting shilas that you could connect to this machlokes. What would be the din if somebody has one bottle of wine? Should he save it? Should he use it for Purim? Because Purim is chayav adam l'psuma b'puria adalayada ben arer haman and baruch martchai. Or should he, one bottle of wine, keep for Pesach? Pesach is the mitzvah of Dalet Kaisis. Today is the first Yom Tiv, right when he has the bottle of wine, the first opportunity is Purim. But perhaps Dalet Kaisis on Pesach is more important. So it could be that even the Chacham Tzvi will agree that in a case like that, in this case with the wine, you drink the wine on Purim first, for two reasons. Number one, it's not the same mitzvah like Kiddush Levana. It's either do it on Tuesday, Wednesday with shmata clothing, with not fancy clothes, not nice clothes, or do the same mitzvah later with nicer clothes. Here it's two separate mitzvahs. The mitzvah of drinking on Purim is one mitzvah, and the mitzvah of drinking on Pesach is a second mitzvah. Maybe even the Chacham Tzvi says, in a case like that, you have to do the first mitzvah possible. The second reason, perhaps the Chacham Tzvi will agree, that because on Purim, the mitzvah of drinking is mentioned in the Megillah. And the Megillah is Divrei Kabbalah. Divrei Kabbalah, ke Divrei Torah. the mitzvah of drinking dalit kaisis and Pesach is only midrabanan. So perhaps that comes first. However, the Achrayim mention that the Maharil says that Rava, the famous Gemara in Masechta Megillah, where Rava said Chayev Adam b'Summa b'Puria, that you have to get intoxicated, you have to drink on Purim. That's not as strict as a chiyuv. It's a mitzvah. Dalit kaisis, however, is a chiyuv. And the very fact that's brought in Shulchan Aruch, the famous Gemara, that Rabbi Yehuda bar Eloi, who he couldn't drink wine, he was allergic or hurt his body drinking alcohol, he never drank wine. The exceptions to the rule was Pesach. He made an exception to the rule only to drink Pesach, and it had a terrible physical effect in him. But he felt for Pesach, you have to drink wine. And Purim, we don't find, if you're able to, and you're able to tolerate the wine, fine. But if it's going to harm you or hurt you, we don't find that. So perhaps others say that actually the wine should be, we find a greater chiyuv, even though it's only midrabanan, we find the chiyuv to keep it for Pesach. Now that's if you have one bottle of wine. It's either today, either Purim or Pesach. How about a slightly different shaila? You got a nice shalach manas. You got an expensive bottle of wine. Now, you have regular wine, and you have good wine. Should you hold the good wine for the dalit kaisis, or should you drink it now on Purim for the same discussion? So this question is discussed in the Mukei Arachayim, Siman Tov Reish Tzaddik Hey Sivkot and Hey, which is Hilchas Purim, and he says, he quotes that there was a chacham that was machriya that you should leave it for Pesach, and but there was no explanation. And the Mukei Arachayim says, it depends on the previous machlokes. What should you wait for a later time or do the first possible mitzvah? And the extra detail being that the fact that we find that even though dalit kaisis is midrabanan, yet we find that Rabbi Yehuda bar Eloi made an effort to drink on Pesach. You don't find that he made that effort on Purim. Depending on all the previous discussion, it will also come out whether or not you should keep the nicer bottle of wine for Pesach and not drink it right away for Purim.